Welcome to this video on Google Forms. So you can create Google Forms using a Google account. That's the starting point. If you want to create Google Forms, you need to have a Google account in order for you to do that. So if you don't have a Google account, go ahead and create a Google account. You can also create a Google form from your phone or from your laptop or desktop. For this tutorial, I'm using a desktop, but you can follow the same process even for a laptop. But in the case, or even for a phone, but if you are using a phone, to access your Google Forms, you need to type in a browser forms.google.com. So you go to your Chrome and type forms.google.com and press enter, and then it will bring out your forms for you. But since I am using a desktop and I've already opened to my forms, I'll go ahead and demonstrate to you how to use your Google form. So this is my Google Drive. In my Google Drive, I have a lot of facilities available to me. If I want to create a form, all I need to do is first I go to new. If I click on new, it will bring me this drop down, and then I can select Google Forms. But if you are using a phone, a smartphone, once you type form.google.com, it will open to this page. So this is the starting point if you want to create your form. So if you want to create your form, it will open to this untitled form. You can now go ahead and give your form a title. How do you give your form a title? You can go up here and write the name you want your form to bear. So I want to name my form size charts. Size charts. So I type size chart as the name of my form. And once I press enter, that becomes the name of my form. You see it has appeared here. You can also add a description. I can say this form is meant to gather information about size charts, and that becomes the description of my form. You can also format your writing. You can have it as bold, as italic. You can underline. You can insert links if you want. And you can also format, you can put numbered lists, you can put bullet points, and you can remove any formatting that you have done. So all of this is possible here. By default, a Google form has email as required, but you can decide not to make your email required. In order to do that, you go to settings and then you can disable the email. You can disable your email in your form. By default, your forms have your answers are all required, and you also have email as required. So you can decide to go to your settings and decide to disable that. Okay, so let's go back to our form. So back to our form now. You see that you have the option of an untitled question. So you can decide to make that your first question, and you can write your question in whatever questions you want to add. For example, I want to make my first question, I want to call it, have you ever used a size chart? Have you ever used a size chart? So that's my first question. And once I have typed my question, I can now select what format I want my question to have. There are different types of questions you can have under Google Form. I'll click on this drop down You can have it as a answer, a paragraph, multiple choice. You can also have it as a linear scale. So I want to choose a short answer. So I select short answer, and that becomes my question. You can also add an image to your question. If I want to add an image, I click, I get the option of browsing. I can browse, and it will go into my gallery if it's on your phone, and here it has gone into my downloads, and then I can select an image from it for my to attach. Let me select one image now, and I open, and you will see that that image will get uploaded on that question. So can you see that I have an image uploaded now? So my first question has been set. I can decide to continue to ask questions, and one way you can do that is to simply duplicate. Can you see this button? I duplicate the question. Then I can go ahead and change the question. My next question now, I can decide to ask the question, have you have you ever used a size chart? Have you ever used a size chart? This time I want to select more an option. So I can say multiple choice. Multiple choice will give me the option of either check boxes or drop down. So let me choose multiple choice. So I choose multiple choice as my option. So it will give me option one. I can decide my option one is yes. So I put yes. I can also add another option, and I can decide that my second option is no. My second option is no. Can you see that? So that is my second question. I can decide to add another third question, and I did that by duplicating again. And I'll ask the question to be, tell me your experience with size charts. So this time I'm going to choose a longer option. So I can say I want the answer to be a paragraph. So I want the answer to be a paragraph. If I don't want this image to continue, as you know, I can just go ahead and remove it. So I don't want an image here again. I've removed the image. I can come here too and remove this image here too. Okay. So, okay, sorry. I removed my question, unfortunately. Let me go back. So I asked the question, what is your experience with a size chart? What is your experience with a size chart? And I said I chose the long answer here. I chose the paragraph. So that will give you room. So if you set a question and you don't want, you can remove it, and you can choose a question from being required. You can click on this button, toggle it, and you can change it. So you can also add description if you want to give more information about the question. So once you've done that and you have your size chart with your questions, you can also format your size chart. You come to this customizing of theme. By default, my size chart is, the color is purple, but I can choose another color. I can decide I want my size chart to be orange or red. I choose this color, and I have the option of choosing different backgrounds. So I choose the background too. And then once I'm done with that, I agree for it to be applied. Okay, you can see that my colors have changed, right? And I can also add a header to my my form. Here is a header. I can choose an image. Normally there are default images available, so if you can go through, you can decide on one of the images. So I decide on this and I choose it to be my header. So click on insert, and then my form now has a header. So my form has a header. If you notice, when this header came, the color of my background changed. But if I still want another color, it will give me colors that it feels will be better. I can still go ahead and choose the color I want, and I can choose the background I want. So can you see now my size chart form is ready? So my size chart form is ready. And once it's ready, I can choose to preview. On a phone, you use a drop down to preview. Can you see how pretty my form is? Can you see how pretty it is? So my form is ready. I can also go back and undo anything that I don't like. I can undo, and I can go ahead and I can redo whatever I undo. Once I'm done, I can decide to send my size chart via email to whosoever I want to send it. By putting their email here, it will go to them, and I press send. Or alternatively, I go to these the buttons here and I choose to get a pre-filled link. I choose to get a pre-filled link, and I go down here and I copy the link, and I can now paste this link in to whosoever I want to send it to. I can place the link on their page, or I can give the link to them. So I hope you have followed me this far. Once your form is done and people have responded, you can now get responses. But this my form is a freshly made form, so it will not have responses. So in order to show you what happens when people respond, but you can look at this button. There's question, there's respond, there's setting. I went to settings to show you something earlier on. I'll still show you later. So let's go to see how to get. Let me click on response here now. You see that there's no response. It's zero response. But let me choose a form that I've already created and used, and I'll use that to show you how how you can get a form that has responses. Okay, so this is a form that has responses. On this form, you can see 49 responses. If I click here, you will see the responses. So the response can be given as a summary, which is a cumulative of all the responses I have. See it here. Or you can have it as in question. I have a number of questions. In my form, I created 3. So you can have the questions, the response in the form of questions, or you can have it as individual response. Everybody's response, you can have it individually. So that is how to see your response. On your response too, if you set a form and after a while you have gotten the information you need and you don't want to continue with that form, you can turn off your form so that it no longer accepts response. If you have sent your form out, it is on the internet and anybody can have access to it. But in turning it off, you decide that you don't want people to have access to it anymore. So that is also possible. Then you can also get your form you can create a spreadsheet out of your form. So maybe you want to gather the information and use it for some other purpose. You can get the result as a spreadsheet. Okay. So all of this, and you can also further have some, you can download your response as a spreadsheet. You can print your response. You can also delete your response. And you can get email notification for every new response. Maybe you have a form that you need the information critically. You can set that so that once people respond, you'll be getting a notification. You'll be getting notification. So, and you can also print and delete. Anything you want to do, you can do within here. So that is how to get responses from your form. Then I'll go back to this setting and show you your form. You can make your form in the form of a quiz. You can use this form like for examination purposes, make a quiz out of it and get response. You can manage your response and protect them. You can also manage how you present your response. So, like I said earlier on, by default, forms will collect email. They will collect email by default. They collect email by default, and their answers are required by default. But you can change any of this if you don't want it on your forms. So Google Forms are very versatile and they're extremely useful, and you can use them for so many things. And as you can see, you can create them very, very easily. They are not complicated at all, and you can beautify them as you want. So I hope you found this very helpful, and I also hope that you will make very good use of Google Forms in the future. Thanks for being a part of this, and bye for now.